Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's beyond the new year because the new year really started in December, but we're starting this year with a bang. I'll tell you that much. Mars at the beginning of the year conjuncted the galactic center, which is kind of really an interesting trek because I was obsessed with the galactic center. And the galactic center, all of our star systems, all of our galaxies travel around a center. And our center is the galactic center. It's in 27 degrees Sagittarius. And I couldn't get this out of my mind, this galactic center that was coming in. And of all the years I have been studying astrology, I came to the realization that our Milky Way is going around the center of truth because the galactic center is in the sign of Sagittarius, and it's all about expanding on our truth. So I thought that was very interesting to start this year. And the last time, um, Mars hits the galactic center, I think every 2 years, but I think some years are more powerful than others. And we are going into an eclipse cycle this year that is the same eclipse cycle that was in 2005. And I'm thinking that when Mars conjuncted the galactic center, that's when I went to see Babaji. So I really feel that he opened up a new pathway of truth for me. So that is kind of like an insight for what's going to be happening this year on several levels. In Light Body Academy, we have been clearing away structures within us to reveal the truth of who we are. And 2024 is going to be a year that we are going to continue doing that so that in 2025, a lot of our scaffolding and structures that are no longer valid, but we're kind of like are going to be kind of like behind us so that we can be going into a creation stage of what we want to manifest. So I guess the purpose of this year is manifesting truth through talents that are essential to our purpose. And I think we have got insight to this in 2020 when the world came to a standstill. And I keep going back to that year because to me, everything stopped to give. And as it stopped, and as we came to this 0 point, we had the capacity to see two paths. One path was to follow this established structure of what reality is, what our government was, what our medical system was, what our military was. We had, I think that was a presidential election. I mean, it just went crazy, crazy, crazy. And but on the same token, many of us really got a wake-up call to decide, do we want to follow that path that's been established, or do we want to break away from that and go into our own purpose of what is our reality? It started us going through our questioning, our phase of questioning. So this year is going to be the more of that. It's we have been going into our ancestral lineages and deciding what we want to take forward with us and what we want to heal. And so we are going to be doing more of that this year. In fact, we are also, it's also in line with the plan of not only are we aligning with our truth, but we're also in that 2 year portal of the Sirian Stargate, which is now, I thought about that. What is the Sirian Stargate? It sounds really glamorous, we're going into the Stargate. You see these films about the Stargate, and you go through the Stargate and magical things happen. It's kind of like that, but different. Because the Sirian Stargate is all about our blueprint pattern. It's all about having awarenesses so that we can make choices of how we want to create our essential self. Now, the sun has been coming forth and has had a lot of activity. So the sun has been aiding in us, kind of hearing whisperings within ourselves, that little voice within ourselves, to that intuition, that intuitive part of ourselves that we have to start listening to. But oftentimes we don't get a clear picture of what those intuitions are until we clear some stuff away. So that's what we're in. We're all in the process of that right now. So this month is the beginning of aligning with our truth. And all throughout the year, Neptune is a planet of dissolving, but it affects the collective. So throughout this year, all the way into the beginning of next year, it's going to go through its final stages of dissolving anything that is not aligned with our own. Let's see, it's dissolving anything that's not aligned with I lost my train of thought here. That's Neptune. It's dissolving my brain as we speak. Let's see, Neptune. I'm sorry. I just lost it right here. Let's go back to 2011 when Neptune is a transpersonal planet. Each of the planets have their qualities. And we talked about the personal planets, which are Mercury, Venus, the Earth, and then those are the personal planets. Those are how we govern our everyday lives. And then we have the social planets, which is Mars. It's how we initiate our interaction with each other. And Jupiter, what our belief system as a collective. And Saturn is how we structure our collective together. It's kind of like the rules that we follow. But then we have the transpersonal planets. Those planets affect groups of people that come in at particular time periods. So each of those planets stay in the constellations for longer periods of time, so that oftentimes people born at the same time that you were born will have similar ideas. So Uranus takes 7 years to go through a particular sign of the zodiac. Neptune takes 14 years to go through a particular sign in the zodiac. And Pluto takes anywhere from 8 years to 20 years to go through a sign. So this is bringing me back to Neptune. Neptune entered the sign of Pisces in 2011, just before 2012, the big year of us aligning with the galactic center, so to speak. So from that time, as we aligned with our solar system, aligned with the galactic center, truth was revealed. People started waking up to that. But on the same token, Neptune, a transpersonal planet, we as a group, we as a collective, have decided to slowly dissolve all the belief systems that we had before. What we're doing is we're developing a belief system that is aligning with our true center. We're not following the rules of how the religions have put things together or how the government has put things together. It's giving us that insight of what no longer serves us. So it's also helping us tap into our intuition at a deeper level. So that said, Neptune is in the last year of his 14-year reign in the sign of Pisces. So we are in the last stages of dissolving belief systems and following the rules as we have been told, especially through religion, so that we can tap into our intuition at a deeper level. So that said, Saturn is also in Pisces at this time. So it's helping us restructure the core of us so that we can restructure, going inside of ourselves and formulating how we want to bring forth our intuition. So some of the actions that we can take are we're taking action to develop accountability and integrity and consciousness, but we're doing it through our intuition. We're consciously letting go, really using self introspection to restructure that what we wish to become. This year, anything that we have outgrown, we must discard. So if you are trying to hold on to a personality trait or a relationship or whatever, it's a time to discard that this year. Even your relationships with your family or an old family are a habit. Habits are really good to let go of this year. And going into yourself through meditation is one of an ideal ways of getting in touch with that. This is a year of practicing being a witness, standing back and witnessing the life around you. And we have that practice in essentials where we take ourselves behind our eyes and view the world behind us. That is something that we must develop. It's essential for us to develop that this year, really being the witness, really being behind our eyes. It should be something that we practice every single day. We have to really trust our intuition this year. This is a service to ourselves and the collective. The more we can demonstrate our truth, the easier it is for others around us to express their truth. I mean, how many times have we been in an uncomfortable situation and we want to say something that we really don't want to say, and we say it, and the person we're with saying, you know, I was thinking the same thing. It allows them to come forth with their truth. And as difficult as that may be, this is a time to really step out of our comfort zone and express the truth of what we're feeling in the moment. Whether it's true or not, expressing it it opens up our energy patterns so that we can open up the energy patterns for those around us. Through doing that this year, our unique gifts are being revealed, and that the more we can clear ourselves out, the more we are going to understand the talents that are deeply hidden within ourselves. And actually, this is being activated by the sun as we speak. The sun has had, in fact, actually, we're entering into a sunspot cycle this year that's we're supposed to have a tremendous increase of sunspot and solar flares and everything you can think about with the sun this year. Now, I was doing a little research on that, and I know that the last time we had a solar storm to a great magnitude was 1859. Now, that sounds like it's far away, but what happened is the solar storm was so strong at that time. All the telegraph offices were kind of blowing out, and it just blew out everything. It fried everything. So we are in the same cycle of that this year, but that's not to be, feared or anything like that. But at the same time that that was happening, a resurgence of spirituality started. All the great teachers started coming in. Like, I don't know if Krishnamurti, but I mean, there were a bunch of teachers that started coming in. Oh, the Theosophical Society, Blavatsky came in. All these people, Sri Yukteswar, and he was the teacher of Yogananda, and Lahiri Mahasaya. All these spiritual leaders started coming in. All the spiritualism started coming in. Houdini, who practiced spirituality. So these sunspots that we are going through are not only amping up the electromagnetic field of our planet, it's activating the electromagnetic field within our own sun, within our own heart. So therefore, going into deep meditation at this time is really essential to tap into parts of your being that have been long hidden, that we haven't been able to express, but we know they're there. They're nigglings of what we want to change in our lives. We know that something's on the verge of happening. It's kind of like going to that movie, The Matrix, where, Neo's sitting there and the computer comes up and he says, you've been wanting to know something for a long time. You know something isn't quite right. Well, we are on the verge of opening up to that reality of what is right within us at this time. So that said, since our sun is a reflection of the universal energy around us, and it's bringing forth this pranic energy, and it's bringing forth this breath of life for our whole solar system, it's also being a lens where our star seed elders can activate those programs within us that have been long hidden. From what I understand, and what I have been understanding, is the human body is very, very valuable. All these starseed nations gave bits and pieces of DNA to our system that help us understand, to help us be these sentient beings that I don't think exist anywhere in all the universes. Now, this is a big statement to say, but I think that all what we are on the verge of now is all those patterns that have been long hidden very, very, very deep inside of ourselves are now being activated. So that's why, again, meditation is really, really, really important to come forth with that. So each of the star nations have contributed to our human beingness, and they're coming forth to open parts of our creator consciousness that we have not touched yet. But Throughout this year, we are going to be eliminating that anything that is not essential to us so that we can open up to this part of ourself that has long been hidden. So it's a very, very important year of elimination so that we can start touching parts of ourself so that we can become these creator beings that we are meant to become. You know, we have been taught as a species not to trust our intuition. And that Neptune piece is really, really helping us get in touch with that intuitive part of ourselves. But we can't get to that. I mean, we can get to it through meditation. We have the aid of our star elders, and each of us, you know, have particular affinities towards some of the star nations. You know, the Arcturians are all about frequency. And the Sirians are all about our blueprint. And the Pleiadians is all about our Akasha. It's all about the libraries, the ancient libraries. So if we have any of those parts within ourselves that need to be activated, you know, what can be activated now through calling to the Arcturians is, you know, it's energetic healing. It's, you know, the foods that we eat. What are the energies behind them? The crystals that we hold, what are the energies behind them? The music that we listen to, what is the energy behind that? It's going into meditation and utilizing, oh, you know, Louise, you have to do with the fragrances. That's all about frequency, and it activates a frequency within ourselves. So these are things that we can be doing right now to accelerate that part of ourselves. So going to that Arcturian frequency, it's about harmonics. We have to be very mindful about what we surround ourselves in a harmonic level at these times. Neptune is dissolving that part of ourselves that no longer want to follow the status quo. So, okay, so some of the things, Arcturians, if you have that within our DNA system, that has to do with frequency. The Sirians has to do with form. What forms, what structures, what scaffolding do we want to change within our lives? That's, you know, making it very simple. It's kind of like, what have we outgrown? What no longer serves us? What patterns have we based our lives on that no longer serve us? That's all about Sirian frequency. And this is amping up. So we have a lot of help from the Sirians to open up to those parts of ourselves that we wish to change. And the parts that we want to integrate, the parts, you know, having a list of what we want to bring into our lives and manifest as part of our patterns in our everyday life. The Pleiadian has to do with going into our records. It has to going into our, you know, our family lineages. It has to do with our kasha. It has to do with, you know, just going inside of ourselves and deciding what's really, really important and what we want to eliminate. I know I feel like I'm repeating myself in all of these things, but the veils are thinning so that we have the capacity to touch these things.